Who would like to kick off? Do you want to go, Ollie?
Yeah, sure, Jace. How quickly have things been able to move to the Wallabies this week, and how much has kind of been about reflecting and reviewing about what went wrong in Wally?
Yeah, obviously it was vitally important that we got to the bottom of some of the things we really weren't happy with, and how South Africa dominated us, especially in that last 20. So it was important we went really deep in that. Obviously last week, and then when we came together on Sunday, a mindset around how we use our ball, what our solutions are, and then being able to flick the switch by Monday to focus solely on Aussie.
Can you yet put your finger on why consistency and performance has been hard to come by for this team?
Yeah, there's a couple of things we're working away at, obviously, and I touched on our possession and what we're doing with our ball. There's times, especially in the South African game, and it has happened earlier on, where we give the ball back to the opposition when we don't need to. So whether that's a kick too often, or whether that's losing the battle in the air, as we know, there are a couple of key things that we feel the pressure is released from the opposition, and we feel like that's where we can really go hard at teams.
How important is the kicking game against Australia compared to South Africa?
It's funnily enough just as important. Obviously the South Africans kicked a lot of contestable kicks, and the Aussies will challenge you with the ball in hand, but it's a big part of their game coming out of their own end as well. So they've got some good guys in the air, Jorgensen, those sorts of boys are winning battles in the air, and I'm sure they'll go there with us.
Will your kicking game remain the same, the amount of kicking? Or?
Yeah, look, we need to keep getting that balance around how much we kick, definitely. I think if you look at the South Africa game, first half you'll see good balance. Second half, we maybe gave them the ball too easily.
Coach, when you have that sort of result a couple of weeks ago, is it tempting to strip everything back or change a lot of stuff?
Yeah, believe me, there's some really good challenging conversations go on when every week, whether you win or lose, with the coaches around strategy, and around kicks are obviously a big part of that. But yeah, there's definitely some little tweaks needed around how we play, and that's a balance between our kick game and our run game.
Coach, big theme of last year was the All Blacks' inability to score in the second half of games. While it hasn't been as big a talking point this year, the numbers are still suggesting that it's still very much a problem. This year in the Rugby Championships, 33 Wallabies are up to about 78. That is blown out by a couple of games.
Points in the second half? Yeah.
Second half. So why is this still a thing, and how do you fix it?
Yeah, look, we've that's been part of our convos on Sunday. The stats, we saw similar stats. Gone deep on around what half time looks like, what our first 10 minutes after half time looks like, and again it'll come back to the same things you keep hearing from me around our ability to apply pressure by having the ball.
Because if you go into this game, you're looking at a team that has a problem scoring in the second half against a team that is very good at it, especially in the last 15 minutes.
Yep.
So how are you going to counter that threat that the Wallabies pose, because they've scored, I think, four tries in the last 10 minutes of games in the last 2 tests?
Yep. No, look, they're obviously good and powerful stats for us to really consider. It'll come back to our fundamentals around how we play. We've looked at a couple of things around how we stay really focused around the little parts of our game in the second half when we're fatiguing, but it's not. We've got to go back to our processes, our systems and process, and what works, and whether that's in the first or the second. But we've got a couple of little things we're going to focus on around in the second half.
Does the use of the bench require a rethink?
We're challenging that, but look, that's a field thing from the coaches, isn't it? And making sure that guys are in good spots to add when they come on.
They've got a bit of a game changer in the number 13 jersey and Joseph Suaalii. You've got Lester Whanganuku in your squad who can do the same, as proven to be a game changer. How tempting is it to unleash this week?
Yeah, firstly Joseph is he's an unbelievable talent, isn't he, with some of the stuff he's doing. Lester brings the same with his physicality and his ability to beat people, and we're really focusing hard on, as backs especially, as our ability to actually beat people one-on-one. So that's been something we're thinking and talking around. So really important.
Jace, how challenging is it to keep the confidence levels of the guys up off a performance like that, when it's probably easy for heads to drop a little?
Yeah, it's a good question, although, obviously boys hurt massively during the last week, and I don't think there's anybody in that group. A lot of those boys have been around a long time and are pretty clear with everyone around what a Bledisloe means. It's massive for the crew, it's massive for us, and getting solutions quickly has enabled us to have real confidence in what we're going to do this week.
Thank you.
Thanks guys. Thank you.